You know that feeling when everyone asks what's wrong with you lately, but you can't explain that everything in your life is simultaneously ending and beginning? You're not depressed. You're not failing. You're being reformatted for a purpose that required the complete dissolution of who you used to be. Right now, there are exactly two types of people watching this: those whose lives are gently evolving, and those whose lives are being completely revolutionized. If you're in that second group, what you're about to learn will change everything. You'll finally understand why your story had to shatter, why certain doors slam shut without explanation, and why the confusion you're experiencing is actually the highest form of clarity preparing to emerge. By the end of this message, you'll stop asking, "Why me?" and start recognizing yourself as someone being prepared for impact others couldn't handle. Right now, as you listen to these words, something profound is shifting in the invisible realm around you. You've been feeling it for weeks, maybe months. That strange sensation that everything familiar is becoming foreign. That unsettling awareness that the life you built is somehow no longer fitting who you're becoming. This isn't your imagination. This isn't failure. This is the beginning of something so powerful that heaven itself had to clear the ground before it could be built. You clicked on this message because somewhere deep in your spirit you already know the truth. The chaos you're experiencing isn't random. The disruption isn't punishment. Every relationship that's shifting, every door that's closing, every certainty that's crumbling, it's all part of a divine demolition that had to happen before your next level could emerge. What you're about to discover will completely transform how you see your current storm. By the time we're finished here, you'll understand why this breaking had to happen and why it's actually the greatest sign that your breakthrough is closer than you think. Before we dive deeper, if you're feeling that recognition in your spirit right now, that knowing that this message found you at exactly the right moment, type 333 in the comments. Share this with someone else who's walking through their own sacred disruption. Subscribe and hit the notification bell because what's coming through this channel will guide you through this entire transformation season. Let's start with the truth that most people never tell you about breakthrough. It doesn't arrive gently. It doesn't slip quietly into your life like a welcome guest. True breakthrough, the kind that shifts your entire trajectory, always arrives through disruption. Think about birth itself. Before new life emerges, there's labor, pressure, pain. Before the butterfly spreads its wings, the caterpillar's entire form dissolves into unrecognizable liquid. Before the seed becomes a tree, its shell must crack open in the darkness of soil. You are experiencing the same universal principle right now. What feels like destruction is actually reconstruction at a level so fundamental that your current structure couldn't support it. The divine architect of your life is not trying to patch up the old building. The renovation required for your next season is so extensive that starting fresh became the only option. This is why nothing seems to be working the way it used to. This is why strategies that once brought success now bring frustration. This is why relationships that once felt secure now feel shaky. The old foundation is being removed because it was built for a previous version of you, and that version has expired. Consider what's been happening in your life recently. Haven't you noticed how certain people just seem to fade away without explanation? How opportunities you were certain about suddenly evaporated? How even your own interests and desires have been shifting in ways you can't quite explain? This isn't coincidence. This is cosmic reorganization. Every exit is creating space for a divinely orchestrated entrance. Every subtraction is making room for supernatural multiplication. But let me take you deeper into what's really happening here. When a building is condemned, it's not because someone wants to cause destruction. It's because the structure has become unsafe for its intended purpose. Your old life, the one that's crumbling right now, had become unsafe for who you're becoming. It could no longer hold the weight of your expanding consciousness. It could no longer contain the power that's building within you. It could no longer serve as the launching pad for where you're headed. So the universal intelligence that guides all things initiated a controlled demolition, not to harm you, but to protect you from the inevitable collapse that would have come from trying to build your future on an inadequate foundation. The challenging part is that this process doesn't come with a roadmap. You can't see the blueprint while you're in the demolition phase. All you can see is what's falling apart, not what's being built in the spiritual realm. This is where faith becomes your only navigation system, not the kind of faith that pretends everything is fine, but the kind that says, "I don't understand this, but I trust the process." The kind that recognizes divine intelligence in what appears to be chaos. Think about the last time you tried to hold on to something that was clearly ending. Remember how much energy it took? How exhausting it was to keep propping up what wanted to fall? That's because you were working against the current of your own evolution. Right now, the universe is doing for you what you couldn't do for yourself. It's creating the clear space necessary for your next incarnation. And yes, I said incarnation. because who you're becoming is so different from who you've been that it's essentially a rebirth while still in the same body. Here's something crucial you need to understand about your current disruption. It's proportional to your coming promotion. The deeper the excavation, the taller the building that will stand there. The more complete the demolition, the more magnificent the reconstruction. If your entire life seems to be shifting right now, it's because your entire life is about to be upgraded in ways you haven't even imagined yet. Small disruptions lead to small changes, but when everything is being shaken simultaneously, you're being prepared for a complete transformation. Let me paint you a picture of what this looks like in practical terms. Perhaps you've noticed that your sleep patterns have changed. You're waking up at unusual hours, filled with thoughts and downloads you can't quite articulate. Or maybe your appetite has shifted and foods you once enjoyed no longer appeal to you. These might seem like small things, but they're actually signs of a deep recalibration happening at the cellular level. Your body is literally restructuring itself to hold a different frequency. The disruption isn't just external, it's happening in every atom of your being. You might be wondering why it has to be this intense. Why couldn't the transition be smoother, gentler, less devastating to everything you've known? The answer lies in the nature of true transformation. You cannot step into a radically different future while carrying the full weight of your past. You cannot expand into new dimensions while remaining tethered to old limitations. The intensity of your current disruption is directly related to the distance between where you've been and where you're going. The further the leap, the more complete the letting go must be. Consider the process of making steel. Iron ore must be heated to extreme temperatures, combined with other elements, and put through intense pressure to become something far stronger than its original form. You are in that furnace right now. The heat you're feeling, the pressure you're under, it's not meant to destroy you. It's meant to transform you into something that can withstand far greater forces than your previous form ever could. You're being forged into someone who can carry greater responsibility, hold more light, and impact more lives than the comfortable version of you ever could have managed. This process is also revealing things about yourself you didn't know were there. Strengths you didn't know you had are emerging under pressure. Resilience you couldn't have imagined is rising to meet each challenge. Even your capacity to release what you thought you couldn't live without is expanding. You're discovering that you're far more adaptable, far more capable, far more powerful than your comfortable life ever allowed you to demonstrate. The disruption isn't just changing your circumstances, it's revealing who you really are beneath all the layers of conditioning and comfort. I want you to understand something about the timing of this message reaching you. You're receiving this at the exact moment when you most need to hear it, but also at the moment when you're finally ready to understand it. 6 months ago, these words might have sounded like empty comfort. A year from now, they might seem obvious. But right now, in this precise moment of your journey, they're landing exactly where they need to land. That's not accident. That's synchronicity. That's the universe confirming that you're exactly where you need to be in this process. There's another layer to this sacred destruction that needs to be acknowledged. Some of what's falling apart needed to fall apart long ago. You've been holding on to situations, relationships, and patterns that expired years before this moment. But comfort, fear, or simple habit kept you clinging to what was already spiritually dead. The divine disruption is doing what you couldn't or wouldn't do yourself. It's forcing the release of what's been blocking your flow. It's creating the clearing you needed but didn't know how to create. Think about the relationships that have ended recently. Yes, it hurt. Yes, you might still be grieving. But if you're honest with yourself, really honest, hadn't you felt the misalignment for a while? Hadn't there been signs that you were outgrowing those connections? The universe didn't take them to punish you. It removed them because they had become obstacles to your becoming. They were beautiful for their season, but their season had ended, and holding on to them would have prevented you from meeting the people who are aligned with your next chapter. The same is true for the opportunities that didn't work out, the plans that fell through, the dreams that seemed to shatter. Each of those closures was a redirection. Each no was protecting you from a path that would have led you away from your true destination. You couldn't see it at the time because you were too close to the situation. But from the perspective of divine intelligence, those blocks were blessings. They were guardrails keeping you on the path to your highest potential. I need you to hear this clearly. The very fact that you're experiencing this level of disruption is evidence of your spiritual significance. Not everyone goes through this depth of transformation. Many people live their entire lives in comfortable repetition, never experiencing the sacred destruction that precedes true elevation. But you're being prepared for something that requires a complete recalibration of your being. You're being initiated into a level of existence that demands the dissolving of your previous form. This is why the old coping mechanisms aren't working anymore. The ways you used to numb yourself, distract yourself, or comfort yourself have lost their power. Television shows that once entertained you now feel empty. Social gatherings that once energized you now feel draining. Even the thoughts you used to think feel foreign in your mind. This isn't depression, though it might feel similar. This is detachment from a reality you're graduating from. You're losing interest in the old world because you're being prepared to create a new one. Now that you understand the sacred nature of your destruction, let me reveal something that will shift your entire perspective on what's happening to you. Behind every moment of chaos, there's a hidden architecture being assembled, an invisible framework that's organizing what appears to be random disruption into a masterpiece of transformation. You can't see it yet because you're standing too close to the canvas. But I'm about to show you how to recognize the patterns that prove your breakthrough is being built even as your breakdown continues. The first pattern you need to recognize is the pattern of acceleration. Have you noticed how everything seems to be happening faster lately? Changes that might have taken years are happening in months. Shifts that should take months are happening in weeks. This acceleration isn't chaos, it's efficiency. When the universe decides it's time for your transformation, it doesn't waste time, it compresses the timeline. It speeds up the process because your new assignment has an appointment with divine timing, and that appointment cannot be delayed. This acceleration might feel overwhelming. You might feel like you can barely catch your breath between waves of change. But understand this, the speed is actually mercy. Would you rather have your transformation stretched out over a decade of slow, grinding change? Or would you rather move through the intensity quickly and emerge on the other side ready for your new reality? The universe, in its wisdom, has chosen the path of intensity over the path of prolonged suffering. It's ripping the bandage off quickly rather than pulling it slowly. The second pattern is the pattern of exposure. Everything hidden is being revealed. Secrets are coming to light. True motivations are being exposed. People's real characters are showing themselves. This isn't happening to hurt you. It's happening to free you. You cannot build an authentic future on a foundation of illusions. Every truth that's being revealed, no matter how painful, is clearing the ground for something real to be built. The masks are falling off, not just from others, but from yourself too. You're seeing who you really are when everything else is stripped away. Think about the last few months. How many times have you discovered something that shocked you? How many times has someone shown you a side of themselves you never expected? How many times have you surprised yourself with your own reactions, your own strength, or your own clarity? This exposure is part of the architecture. It's ensuring that what gets built next is built on truth, not pretense. It's making sure that your new life is aligned with reality, not fantasy. The third pattern is the pattern of synchronicity. Even in the chaos, you're experiencing meaningful coincidences. The right information appears just when you need it. A random conversation provides the exact answer you were seeking. A book falls off the shelf and it contains the message you needed to hear. These aren't accidents, they're breadcrumbs leading you through the destruction toward your reconstruction. The universe is communicating with you constantly, showing you that there's intelligence in what seems like madness. Pay attention to the numbers you keep seeing, the songs that play repeatedly, the themes that keep showing up in different areas of your life. These repetitions are the universe's way of getting your attention, of confirming that you're on the right path even when the path seems to be crumbling beneath your feet. Every synchronicity is a small confirmation that there's a plan, that there's purpose in the chaos, that something greater than random chance is orchestrating your transformation. The fourth pattern is the pattern of spiritual awakening. Your sensitivity has increased dramatically. You can feel energy in rooms now. You can sense truth and deception more clearly. You might be having vivid dreams, prophetic insights, or moments of knowing that you can't explain. This isn't your imagination running wild. This is your spiritual senses coming online. The disruption has cracked open your spiritual channels, and information that was always there is now accessible to you. This awakening might feel disorienting. You might question your sanity sometimes. You might wonder if you're becoming too sensitive, too aware, too different from who you used to be. But this heightened awareness is actually part of your equipment for the next level. Where you're going, you'll need these enhanced senses. You'll need to be able to read situations instantly, to sense alignment and misalignment, to know without being told. The chaos is awakening abilities in you that have been dormant, possibly for your entire life. The fifth pattern is the pattern of purification. Notice what's being removed from your life. It's not random. There's intelligence in the selection. Toxic relationships are ending. Harmful habits are becoming impossible to maintain. Environments that poison your spirit are becoming unbearable. This isn't loss, it's purification. You're being cleansed of everything that would contaminate your next season. Every exit is carefully orchestrated to ensure that what remains is pure, aligned, and capable of supporting your elevation. This purification extends to your thoughts, your beliefs, your very identity. Old limiting beliefs are being challenged. Stories you've told yourself about what's possible are being shattered. Identities you've worn like costumes are becoming uncomfortable. You're being purified at every level, refined like gold in fire, until only what's true and eternal remains. This process can feel like death because, in a way, it is. Parts of you are dying so that the real you can finally live. The sixth pattern is the pattern of preparation. While you're focused on what's falling apart, the universe is simultaneously preparing what's coming together. People are being positioned in your path who will play crucial roles in your next chapter. They might not have arrived yet, but they're being prepared just as you are. Opportunities are being crafted that perfectly match the person you're becoming. Resources are being allocated for your next season. The preparation is happening in the invisible realm, but it's as real as the destruction you can see. Think about seeds planted in soil. For weeks, nothing appears to be happening on the surface. But beneath the ground, roots are spreading, foundations are being established, and life is organizing itself for emergence. Your life is in that same germination phase. What looks like nothing on the surface is actually everything beneath it. The architecture of your new life is being assembled in the quantum field, waiting for the perfect moment to manifest in your physical reality. The seventh pattern is the pattern of isolation turning into insulation. You've probably noticed that you've been spending more time alone lately. Social invitations have decreased. Your circle has gotten smaller. You might feel lonely, but this isolation is actually insulation. You're being protected from influences that would interfere with your transformation. You're being given the space to hear your own voice, to connect with your own truth, to establish your own rhythm without the constant input of others. This insulation period is when you discover who you are without the mirrors of other people's opinions. It's when you learn to validate yourself, to comfort yourself, to motivate yourself. It's when you develop an unshakable core that doesn't need external confirmation to know its worth. The architecture being built requires you to have this solid sense of self. Without it, you'd be too easily swayed, too quickly discouraged, too dependent on others' approval to fulfill your purpose. The eighth pattern is the pattern of divine delay. Some things you've been trying to force into existence keep getting delayed. Doors that should open remain closed. Progress that should be happening isn't. This isn't denial, it's divine timing. The universe is preventing you from stepping into situations you're not yet equipped to handle. It's holding certain things back because other pieces need to fall into place first. The delay is not punishment, it's protection. It's ensuring that when things do open up, you're fully prepared to walk through those doors and thrive. Consider a farmer who wants to harvest crops before they're ripe. No matter how eager, how ready, how desperate they might be, harvesting too early would ruin everything. The same principle applies to your life. The delays you're experiencing are ensuring that both you and your opportunities ripen at the perfect moment. When that moment arrives, the success will be sustainable because it came at the right time. Now let me share something about how these patterns work together. They're not separate occurrences, they're interwoven, creating a tapestry of transformation that's far more complex and beautiful than any single pattern could create alone. The acceleration works with the exposure to quickly reveal what needs to be seen. The synchronicity works with the awakening to confirm your spiritual insights. The purification works with the preparation to ensure you're ready for what's coming. The insulation works with the divine delay to give you the time and space for complete transformation. Understanding these patterns changes everything about how you navigate this season. Instead of feeling like a victim of chaos, you become a conscious participant in transformation. Instead of resisting the changes, you begin to cooperate with them. Instead of fearing what's next, you start anticipating the revelation of what's being built. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this preparing me for?" I want you to notice something else. These patterns are appearing not just in your personal life, but in the collective. Many people are experiencing similar disruptions, similar awakenings, similar transformations. This isn't coincidence. There's a mass elevation happening, and you're part of it. Your individual transformation is connected to a larger shift in consciousness. The architecture being built in your life is part of a greater architecture being built in humanity itself. This is why your transformation matters beyond just your personal happiness or success. You're being prepared to play a role in something larger. The skills you're developing, the strength you're building, the wisdom you're gaining, they're not just for you. They're for the contribution you're meant to make to the collective evolution. Your breakthrough isn't just about you breaking free. It's about you breaking through to become a doorway for others. If you're recognizing these patterns in your own experience right now, type 555 in the comments. This is your confirmation that you're not imagining things. The patterns are real, the architecture is being built, and your transformation is proceeding exactly as it should. Share this with someone else who needs to understand that their chaos has a blueprint, that their destruction has design. Remember, recognizing these patterns doesn't make the process painless. It doesn't remove the challenge, but it does give you the context to understand that the challenge has purpose. It gives you the faith to continue when everything seems to be falling apart. It gives you the vision to see beyond the current chaos to the coming clarity. You've walked through the sacred destruction. You've recognized the hidden architecture. Now comes the moment you've been being prepared for, the emergence. But here's what nobody tells you about breakthrough. The moment it arrives, it often doesn't feel like you expected. It doesn't always announce itself with fanfare. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it simply appears one morning, and you realize the storm has passed, the dust has settled, and you're standing in a completely different landscape than where you started. The emergence protocol isn't about waiting for permission to step into your new life. It's about recognizing that the transformation has already occurred and now it's time to embody it. You are no longer who you were when this disruption began. The person who entered this chaos no longer exists. You are now someone who has been forged in divine fire, restructured at the molecular level and equipped with capabilities you're only beginning to discover. The first signal of emergence is the return of clarity. After months of confusion, suddenly things start making sense. Not necessarily logical sense, but spiritual sense. You understand why certain things had to happen. You see the perfection in the timing. You recognize the gift in what felt like loss. This clarity doesn't come from your mind figuring things out. It comes from your spirit finally being able to perceive the complete picture. The fog lifts, and you see that you were never lost. You were being guided through necessary darkness toward inevitable light. The second signal is the arrival of new opportunities that feel mysteriously aligned. Doors that were locked suddenly swing open. People appear who speak your new language, who recognize your transformation, who offer exactly what you need for your next steps. These opportunities don't feel forced or desperate. They feel like reunions, like something saying, finally, you're ready for this. They match not who you were, but who you've become. They require the exact skills, wisdom, and strength you've developed through your destruction and reconstruction. But here's the challenge many face at emergence: fear of stepping into the new. After being in survival mode for so long, thriving can feel foreign, even threatening. You might find yourself hesitating at the threshold of your breakthrough, suddenly nostalgic for the familiar chaos. This hesitation is normal. It's your old identity making one last attempt to pull you back into known territory. Don't negotiate with it. Don't entertain its arguments. Step forward anyway. The emergence protocol requires you to act as if you are who you've become, even before you feel fully ready. You must begin operating from your new identity before it feels completely natural. Speak with the authority you've earned through your trials. Make decisions from the wisdom you've gained through your pain. Move with the confidence of someone who has survived what was meant to destroy them. This isn't fake it till you make it. This is choosing to embody the truth of your transformation, even while parts of you are still catching up. Let me tell you something about the space you're entering now. It will feel surprisingly peaceful. After all the chaos, the silence might be unsettling. After all the breaking, the stability might feel suspicious. You might even create unnecessary drama just to feel something familiar. Resist this urge. The peace is not the calm before another storm. It's the calm after the storm, the sacred stillness where new life takes root. Learn to trust the peace. Learn to receive the ease. Learn to accept that struggle is no longer required for your growth. The third signal of emergence is the integration of seemingly opposite truths. You become someone who can hold strength and softness simultaneously. You can be powerful without being harsh. You can be gentle without being weak. You can be certain about your path while remaining open to divine redirection. This integration is the mark of someone who has been through authentic transformation. You no longer need to choose sides within yourself. All parts of you have been reconciled into a unified whole. You'll also notice that your presence affects rooms differently now. People respond to you in new ways. Some are drawn to your light, sensing the wisdom you carry. Others are uncomfortable, feeling exposed by your clarity. This is the natural result of carrying a higher frequency. You don't have to do anything special. Your very presence becomes a catalyst for change in others. Some will rise to meet you, others will remove themselves. Both responses are perfect. Your job is simply to remain authentic to who you've become. The emergence protocol also includes what I call the grace period, a window of time where the universe seems to conspire in your favor. Resources appear, support manifests, solutions present themselves. This isn't luck. This is the universe's way of establishing you in your new reality. It's providing what you need to build your new foundation. Don't waste this grace period doubting whether you deserve it. You've earned it through your willingness to be transformed. Receive it fully. Use it wisely. Build something that lasts. Now, there's something crucial about maintaining your new elevation. The transformation you've experienced isn't a one-time upgrade that runs on autopilot. It requires conscious maintenance. You must protect your energy more carefully than before because you're carrying more light. You must be selective about what you allow into your space because you're more sensitive to frequency. You must honor your intuition immediately because it's now finely calibrated to truth. This means some practices from your old life won't work anymore. You can't go back to numbing yourself when things get difficult. You can't return to relationships that require you to dim your light. You can't pretend to be less than what you've become just to make others comfortable. The cost of betraying your transformation is higher than the cost of honoring it, even when honoring it means standing alone sometimes. The fourth signal of emergence is the desire to serve from your transformation. You find yourself wanting to help others who are going through their own sacred destruction. You want to be the voice that helps them understand their chaos has purpose. This desire isn't about being a savior. It's about being a witness, a testament to what's possible when someone surrenders to divine transformation. Your story becomes medicine for others, but only after you've fully integrated it yourself. Here's what I need you to understand about this new version of you. It's not final. Transformation isn't a destination, it's a way of being. You've learned how to be transformed, which means you'll continue transforming. But future transformations won't require the same level of destruction because you've built a flexible foundation. You've become someone who can evolve without having to be broken first. You've learned to dance with change instead of resisting it. The emergence protocol includes a responsibility you might not have anticipated. You are now carrying codes, frequencies, and wisdom that others need. Not everyone will be ready to receive what you carry, but those who are will find you. They'll be drawn to you through mysterious synchronicities. They'll appear in your path at exactly the right moment. Your job is to remain open, available, and willing to share what you've learned when divine timing indicates. As you fully emerge into your new reality, you'll experience what I call the recognition moment, when you suddenly see yourself clearly and realize the magnitude of your transformation. You might catch a glimpse of yourself in a mirror and see someone you barely recognize. You might hear yourself speaking with wisdom you didn't know you possessed. You might handle a situation with grace that would have destroyed the old you. In that moment, you'll understand that the destruction was worth it. Every loss was actually a liberation. Every ending was actually an entrance. The final truth about emergence is this: it's not a grand arrival, it's a quiet knowing. You simply wake up one day and realize you're not waiting anymore. You're not becoming anymore. You are. You are the person you were being prepared to be. You are living the life that was being architected in the chaos. You are embodying the transformation that once seemed impossible. And from this place of being, rather than becoming, your true work in this world begins. If you're feeling the stirring of your emergence right now, if you recognize yourself in this protocol, type 888 in the comments. This is your declaration that you're ready to step fully into who you've become. Share this message with someone else who's approaching their emergence, who needs to know that the chaos is ending and their new beginning is here. Remember this as you step forward. You were never broken. You were being broken open. You were never lost. You were being redirected. You were never abandoned. You were being prepared, and now, prepared and powerful, you emerge not as someone who survived the storm, but as someone who became the calm after it. Your emergence isn't just your victory. It's evidence for everyone watching that transformation is possible, that destruction can lead to construction, that endings can become beginnings.